Hey there. Ritual here to give a big shout out to you for making it through the hectic holiday season. The magic of those family moments, that was you. And now there's new milestones to prep for in 2025. This new year, check clean, quality pregnancy nutrient support off your to-do list with Ritual. We've done the research to create science-backed pregnancy support like our prenatal multivitamin, natal choline, and fertility support, all designed to be taken alongside each other. But don't just take our word for it. They're also third-party tested for microbes and heavy metals and Clean Label Project certified. So whether you're trying, thinking about trying, or already there, we don't have to tell you that prioritizing yourself can be the hardest part. That's why we're helping you get started today with 30% off a 3-month supply for a limited time at ritual.com/podcast. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Oh, sorry. That's for a Democrat show.
Let me know when you're ready.
Was an extremely great conservative commentator. We're tearing it up on Wednesday night. This is awesome. This
will allow me to retort.
Well, this is Jersey Joe for the Reaver of Common Sense show. I'm on shrmedia.com.
Actually, I just totally screwed up. This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm trying to get everything set up here. That takes me a few minutes. How's everybody doing? I'm doing good because the Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's right. We've taken over the nighttime airways. I can't say how giddy I am to be here. Not just SHR. I've been with SHR for a while now. But I'm giddy to be here at night. I'm a night owl. I like it at nighttime. So if you want to watch a broadcast, you want to listen, well, 2 easy ways. Go to shrmedia.com. And I always forget the name of the little button. I think it's like listen/chat. You know, I listen live/chat. If you click on that, not only do you go into the chat channel where you can be a part of the conversation, it loads up. Well, it's supposed to load up our live stream. I'll have to check into that later. I know our IT guy is under the weather, so I want to give a shout out to him and his wife, and get better. We need you both. All right. Representative Steve Scalise, if you haven't heard, has been readmitted into ICU, last I heard. Doctors at the hospital where the House Majority Whip, Steve Scalise, Republican from Louisiana, almost said Los Angeles, has been recovering from a gunshot wound, downgraded his condition from fair to serious Wednesday after he contracted a infection. Ouch. MedStar Washington Hospital Center said Scalise has been readmitted to the intensive care unit. The doctors added, hello, Dylan. The hospital added that would provide another update sometime Thursday. I didn't get an update before going on the show. My apologies. I should have done that. I really, really should have done that. It's not uncommon for infections to pop up. It's amazing you're in a very sterile environment, but at the same time, there's a lot of infections running around hospitals. It's a balancing act. I mean, you can clean as much as you want. Okay, if you go to the shrmedia.com and you hit refresh, the live video stream should be up and running now. Thank you, bud. This complication comes from the June 14th, where a gunman identified as James T. Hodgkinson was fatally shot by Capitol Police after opening fire on a GOP baseball practice in Virginia. Reminder, this guy was a Bernie Sanders supporter, diehard Bernie Sanders supporter, and a radicalized leftist by MSNBC. By the way, if you're watching the video, you can see the nice Reaver of Common Sense coffee mugs. Shameless plug. Shameless. That was bad. I'm out of it today. Have you ever had one of those days? Actually, this week. For those that don't know, I was an EMT for 25 years, and injuries took its toll on my body. And they're trying to get the right meds that get all the aches and pains gone. And we just switched this week, so I think some of them just have me a little in la-la land right now. That's not an excuse, but I'm a little bit off. I'll admit it. But then again, you know, I am Jersey Joe. I'm always a little bit off. I mean, that's what happens when you're from New Jersey. So, oh boy. It's... The doctors had stated that they anticipated that Scalise would suffer an infection related to the shooting. A bullet is very disgusting. It is not clean or sterile by any means necessary. And on top of that, when it's traveling through the air, it's picking up bacteria. And when it hits the person, it has to go through the clothing. Sometimes bits of clothing lodge onto the bullet and go inside the body. Sometimes there's big pieces and the surgeons are able to see it and pull them out. Sometimes there's small pieces that they're not able to see that cause small infections. There's a lot of different reasons why you would get an infection from a shooting, but also you have the lead factor is going to cause complications. How do I know about this? No, I'm not a doctor. I was an EMT for 25 years, but on top of it, my father took 2 bullets. So it's just stuff that we learned going through his survival and all his surgeries. It's not uncommon for infections, secondary, third surgeries. Usually the first surgery is a life-saving. They're not exactly worried about anything except saving the person's life right at that moment. That's priority number 1. Everything else is secondary. In fact, with my dad, he got shot in his stomach, and when he went in for surgery, they had to go in so fast, they just went straight down the middle of his stomach, straight through all the muscles. Now, you think there's no problem with that, but the way they cut it just to get an emergency so they could stop bleeding and all that and start sewing everything up is...
Big shout out to you for making it through the hectic holiday season. This new year, get clean, quality, pregnancy nutrient support off your to-do list, including Ritual's best-selling Essential Prenatal Multivitamin, designed with 12 traceable key ingredients to support a healthy pregnancy. With big changes coming up, take the small steps now and start today with 30% off a 3-month supply at ritual.com/podcast. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Hey there. Ritual here to give a big shout out to you for making it through the hectic holiday season. The magic of those family moments, that was you. And now there's new milestones to prep for in 2025. This new year, check clean, quality, pregnancy nutrient support off your to-do list with Ritual. We've done the research to create science-backed pregnancy support like our prenatal multivitamin, natal choline, and fertility support, all designed to be taken alongside each other. But don't just take our word for it. They're also third-party tested for microbes and heavy metals and Clean Label Project certified. So whether you're trying, thinking about trying, or already there, we don't have to tell you that prioritizing yourself can be the hardest part. That's why we're helping you get started today with 30% off a 3-month supply for a limited time at ritual.com/podcast. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
They went the wrong way. I don't want to say wrong way. Emergency surgery is emergency surgery. You have to get in there, and that's my point. When they're normally doing surgery, they'll go horizontal with the grain of the muscle, where they went against the grain of the muscle. And now when you're trying to reattach those back together, you wind up with hernias a lot. A lot worse. But it's complications that can be fixed later on. The number one factor when you first go in is to stop bleeding, get that any life-threatening situation under control. So now it's just the how should I put it without sounding like a douchebag? I always sound like a douchebag, but now it's just the cleanup of the small issues. I know that his wife may not think it's small right now. His kids may not think it's small. But when you talk about the grand scheme of things, right now it's in the going down the final stretch. Can it get worse? Yes. But usually things are under control here. I believe he has some of the best doctors. Taking a bet my wife's pulling in right now. So, thoughts and prayers are with Scalise. And pull through, get well. Need you back on the floor, sir. From there, we are going to jump. Now, another incident happened today, and police have arrested a man for allegedly threatening Jeff Flack's staff. I keep hearing how the right is perpetuating this violence. The right is being violent. But it's the left that's doing all this violence. It's the left media that's whipping their base into a frenzy, causing some of these issues to pop up. Not the right. They keep, Donald Trump. No, not Donald Trump. You need to look at Maxine Waters, Schumer, MSNBC, CNN. They've lost their friggin' minds. The problem is, most people are getting tired of this. They really are. They're getting tired of this crap. And they just want our government to do its job. Sorry. Something's going on outside. All the people want is our government officials to go in and do their jobs. But now we have all the rhetoric and all the sideshow, and our law enforcement officials arrested a man Thursday who allegedly made threatening comments towards Arizona Senator Jeff Flack's staff that referenced the shooting of House Majority Whip Steve Scalise. The Pima County Sheriff's, and I'm probably screwing that name up, officer confirmed that Mark Pritchard, 59, was arrested on Thursday at Flack's Tuscan office. According to an aide at Flack, Pritchard told a staff member, quote, "You know how liberals are going to solve the Republican problem? They are going to get better aim. That last guy tried, but he needed better aim. We will get better aim." That's what's going on in today's world. And I saw people joking about it. I was like, that's not something to joke about. That really isn't. Because you're having nut jobs that are thinking that. And now we have one showing up to a senator's office. Now, I'm not saying that Democrats don't get some threats. They do. There's nut jobs on both sides. But right now, the ones that are committing the actual violence are the ones on the left. You always have an asshole in a bunch. You always do. You're never going to stop that. The problem is it's happening too often on the left. And no one's speaking out against it. Every time a little fart in the wind happens, and it somehow happens around a Republican, he's got to denounce everybody who farted. The left, they just ignore it. It has nothing to do with me. Nothing to do. Nope. Well, yeah, it does. More so than what you do to the Republicans. And now the conservatives, the GOP, are finally catching on and trying to hold Democrats to the same standard. And that's kind of like what we got Trump doing. He's holding them to the same standard. He's empowered a lot of people to hold Democrats to the same standards that they've held everybody else all this time. And that's why they couldn't beat Trump in an election. Because he knows how to play their game. And he's used it right against him. And I said that from the start of the campaign. That's why I thought Trump was going to win. Because he knows how to play it. And the Democrats only know how to beat Republicans. As soon as you take certain tactics off the table, they don't know what the hell to do. And they still don't. They're still trying to say the same old tired racist, xenophobe, anti-Semitic, all of that, trying to disparage. And it's, you ignore it, you disavow it, you ignore it, and you go right on. What are they going to do? If they keep harping on it, they start to sound like lunatics like they are now. And with the rhetoric that they are saying out there, it's no wonder we have these guys showing up at the offices or where GOP places are, personnel are, and making threats like this. And then they run around,
Big shout out to you for making it through the hectic holiday season. This new year, get clean, quality, pregnancy nutrient support off your to-do list, including Ritual's best-selling Essential Prenatal Multivitamin, designed with 12 traceable key ingredients to support a healthy pregnancy. With big changes coming up, take the small steps now and start today with 30% off a 3-month supply at ritual.com/podcast. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
If you're a maintenance supervisor for a commercial property, you've had to deal with everything from leaky faucets to flickering light bulbs. But nothing's worse than that ancient boiler that's lived in the building since the day it was built, 50 years ago. It's enough to make anyone lose their cool. That's where Grainger comes in. With industrial-grade products and dependable fast delivery, Grainger can help with any challenge. From worn-out components to everyday necessities. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
it's happening to us. They try to become the victim. The right's not trying to become the victim. The right wants to stand up and protect itself. The left wants to become a victim because they see the popularity, or the backing, I should say, the Republicans are getting because of what's going on. So they're going to try to play the victim and turn the Republicans into the villain. The problem is, it's not working. It is not working. This guy got charged with criminal trespassing, as well as threats and intimidations after staffers in Flack's district office called authorities. He was amongst a group of protesters at Flack's office. Like Jeff Flake, Flack, Affleck. Everybody needs to take a step back, take a deep breath, and act like adults. It's getting tiresome. The same shit over and over again. Also, during that incident, a 70-year-old protester, Patrick, I'm not going to try that last name, He was charged with criminal trespassing in the third degree after he allegedly attempted to force his way into Flack's office. It's a sad day in America. They keep pointing towards Trump. Trump's not the one doing it. Those are a perfect example. Now, the Pima County sheriffs wanted to make sure no force was used in apprehending either of the two men, and no violence occurred from the protest itself. And the sheriff's office would like to remind everybody that Jeff Flack's office is not public property, but is a rented space in a privately owned business area. A lot of people forget that these offices are private property, not public. It's... I said it before and I'll say it again. It was a joke at first with the Trump derangement syndrome. Well, it's not so much a joke anymore because these people are actually starting to get afflicted with this. And they're losing their minds. They want to talk about mental instability. They just need to look in the mirror is what they need to do. The left really needs to take responsibility for what it's doing. The left needs to step back and act like adults. All right, so we're going to get ready for a break. It's been one hell of a day here at SHR Media. Up next at 11 p.m., right after the Reaver of Common Sense, we will have BZ's Bobcat Saloon. And I know I goofed that up. But he'll be coming up right after me. He's a great show. I stole this man. I admire it. He is a great man. A lot of experience, a lot of knowledge, and I enjoy actually listening to him. I like when I have to tune into, the sackheads. I'm required. It's in my contract. Oh, boy. It's going to be one of those days. Yeah, BZ's Berserker Bobcat Saloon. I always forget the Berserker. He'll slap me upside my head. All right, you're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio. And we will be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on SHRmedia.com and HighPlainsDailyNews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
know that. A team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cat for the stupid throat.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the Reaver of Common Sense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm trying to make sense out of the senseless. Running out to the other room, my wife just got home. You know, I got dogs going nuts. So I'm chasing one dog around the house, having fun. Little Yorkie Poo. He's like running in place. So, Los Angeles Times smears the NRA. And how do they smear the NRA? With anti-Semitism claim. The oldies but the goodies. Los Angeles Times has now joined the chorus of leftist voices criticizing a new advertisement by the NRA, accusing the NRA of anti-Semitism. At the heart of the NRA campaign is a video called The Voice of Lies, a video in which NRA calls out the left for its prosperity of violence and media propensity. What the hell did I even say? NRA calls out the left for its propensity for violence in media and action. The narrative of the video says the left uses their media to assassinate real news. They use their schools to teach children that their president is another Hitler. They use their movie stars and singers and comedy show and war show to repeat their narrative over and over again. And then they use their ex-president to endorse the resistance, all to make them march, to make them protest and scream racism, xenophobe, homophobe, and to smash windows, burn cars, shut down interstates and airports, and bully and terrorize law-abiding citizens. The ad has been slammed by California Lieutenant Governor Gavin Newsom, a Democrat, who suggested an NRA description of the left was a call for people to come after politicians. It was also criticized by the Women's March, who said it was apparently a direct endorsement of violence against women. God, the imagination of the left. Now it has been criticized by the Times, which suggests the commercial is anti-Jewish. The Times article begins, what do Walt Disney Concert Hall, the shiny stainless steel bean sculpture in Chicago Millennium Park, and the headquarters of the New York Times have in common? The short answer is that they all star in the Billy's minute-long video ad released by the NRA at the end of June. The more revealing one is that they were designed by people who are either Jewish, in the case of Frank... Wait a minute. So the guy that designed the Disney Hall was Jewish, so it's an anti-Jew. We're born outside the United States. Oh, my God. Oh, The Times complains it suggests of an anti-Jewish theme by pointing to the NRA's emphasis on the fact that the left compares President Trump to Hitler. As if the fact that objecting to leftists saying Hitler means that NRA is anti-Jewish. The Times then transitions to say the LA Times building designed by Gordon Kaufman, an architect generally remembered as Jewish, though his biographers say he may not have described himself that way, appears in the commercial too. The Times does not cite any reason the audience for the NRA would have reason to know the supposed religion of an architect. An effort to up the ante, they also suggest the NRA ad is targeted against the non-white, the Muslim, the non-believer, the pacifist on the Pacific. Jesus Christ. Why don't they take this imagination and put it to use? Hollywood needs some new movies, some new ideas. Take your harebrained fantasy world and write screenplays. Probably make some good money since Hollywood's out of ideas. They could use some of your harebrained ideas. And oh my God. Talk about desperation. I am at an utter speechless standpoint. It's... Oh, man. How they got anti-Jew from that. Is beyond me. Just their imagination. How they even come up with this is beyond me. I mean, they gotta be in a room like smoking a lot of pot. Dude, I got a good idea, man. All right, we're gonna attack this idea. Hold on. All right, we're gonna attack this idea, and we're gonna just say that they're racist. Nah, man, we've been using that too much lately. Nah, we can't use that one. Wait a minute, let me get a bong hit. All right, man, we're going to call them xenophobes. We've done that one, too. I mean, they're just going to get recycling. Anti-Jewish. Now, we're going to hear about the xenophobe. Pretty soon, we're going to hear about being just plain out racist. That's all the left has. Same shit over and over in a cycle. Oh, my God. I'm just dumbfounded. I'm trying to pull up my secondary wife to tell me how to say this person's last name. All right. Linda Sarsauer calls for jihad. She calls for jihad against Donald Trump's administration. a Palestine-American anti-Israel activist, supported by the left, of course, who helped organize the nationwide Women's March the day after President Donald Trump's inauguration, calls for a jihad or holy war against the Trump administration last weekend. You can't make this shit up. Then they wonder why we refer to them as being terrorists. And I'm not talking the left anymore. They side with someone who's calling for a jihad against our president. This woman did a woman's march and is pro damn brain fart. Oh, the Israel law. Holy Shahir law. Damn. Total brain fart. She's pro-Shahir. And she's just supposed to be part American. And now she's calling for holy war. Isn't that treason? Isn't that a reason for you to be, for your citizenship to be revoked? I mean, she's declaring war on the United States. Sarah Sauer was speaking in Chicago at an annual conference of the Islamic Society of North America, a group that the investigative project on terrorism notes was an unindicted co-conspirator in a terror funding prosecution. It was allegedly created by a member of the Muslim Brotherhood. Well, we know that organization. It said that it was started in the 1980s by a member of the Muslim Brotherhood, but the group itself traces its origins to the formation of the Muslim Student Association in 1963. The Islamic Society of North America has been described as the largest umbrella group of Muslims in North America. Barack Obama met with ISNA, their president, in 2015. Despite the group's controversial views and alleged ties to radical movements. Sorry, BZ was putting something on Twitter. Quoting the Prophet Muhammad, Sarah Sauer said, "A word of truth in front of a tyrant, ruler, or leader, that is the best form of jihad." She then added, "And I hope that we, when we stand up to those who oppress our communities, that Allah accept us from us that as a form of jihad, that we are struggling against tyrants and rulers not only abroad in the Middle East or on the other side of the world, but here in these United States of America, where you have fascists and white supremacists and Islamophobes reigning in the White House." I've still yet to see a fucking example of all this fascism, white supremacist, Islamophobe from the Trump administration. I've seen a lot of propaganda put my way. Where have we had violence to push a political view? Oh, no, that's the left that's done that with Antifa. I'm still waiting. I think I'll die of thirst before actually having an honest-to-God example. And more than just one, please, because I can quote you several violent opportunities from the left to push political views. Let me pull something up. Now, Google has changed their definition of fascist to be a right-wing only, but it isn't. Oh, there. Fascism, for it to be true fascism, has to have violence that comes to move a political point. They believe that using violence is acceptable. And what do we have with Antifa? They're claiming that there's fascism on the right. So they're justified because they feel that there's going to be violence perpetuated on them, even though there's no examples of it. So they cause violence to stop violence from happening, that there's no proof that any violence was going to happen onto them. Methinks that sounds a lot like bullshit to me. If it smells like bullshit, looks like bullshit, it's going to be bullshit. Might be cow shit, but most likely bullshit. And this woman's walking around, and she's giving speeches declaring jihad on this administration. If I would have declared any type of war against Obama's administration, I would have been locked up immediately. I love how there's this massive double standard going on. Checking the news as I talk to see if there's anything popping up. Don't forget, coming up at 11 p.m., we have BZ's Berserker Bobcat Saloon. One of these days I'm going to get it right. Hell, I'm still trying to work to make sure that I get my times right instead of giving my old times. I'm still trying to make sure I get that right. But there's a lot of changes here at SHR Media, and it's for the good. We have added a lot of live shows. Unfortunately, we did lose one major show. He decided that his path was going a different way, and he wanted it to explore different avenues. I wish him well, but that then opened a door for me to come along and take the 9 p.m. slot, which I'm ecstatic. I'm happy. Happy. We're going to paint a bush right here because it's happy. And then we're going to put a gook behind it because he's mad. Oh, I actually missed him. I love watching him paint. That was... he'd just be like, oh, you just sit here, flick your wrist, and you got your tree. A nice little tree standing in the forest. Now you take your brush and just pop, and there you have a tree. Oh, it's snowing out. Let's get a little cream white and this, and pop. Just lightly tap it, pop. There you have your tree in the forest. It's so happy. I was like, son of a bitch. I do, and it looks like a goddamn ink blot test. Hey, hon, what do you think of this? I see a bat. No, it's supposed to be a Christmas tree. No, definitely a bat, honey. He makes it look so easy. Ed. He's always nice and calm. Just tap lightly. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, and we will be right back.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplains.dailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying cop for the stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I'm your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm trying to make sense out of the senseless. I'm going to have to switch monitors around because I got 3. I want 4 back up. But I have the one with the camera for the live stream, that monitor. I need to put it in front of here because I'm always looking over checking things, and I don't like that I'm looking away, so I got to switch that. And the monitor that's up there is just running the software for the radio part of the show, just for the audio. I think I'm going to have to do that. That's going to be a pain in the tuchus. It's amazing. I'm trying to figure out. She made a statement, Sarsauer, and it's she spoke about the importance of Muslims supporting other oppressed groups in the United States and their struggles, and talked about her experience representing Palestine in those movements. I don't have to choose, do I not be to Palestine this day? I have been living an example of what it means to be wholeheartedly, all of me, in whatever space that I am in. She added, I will not be in a space where any group or any organization or any individual tells me that there's a part of my identity that is not welcome. A privilege not accorded to liberal Jews or Zionists who march for the oppressed, as excluded Jews lesbian recently found out in Chicago. There is definitely an undercurrent going on with some of these people that are speaking out. There is something that can't be proven wholeheartedly, but the lies and the propaganda that are being pushed around to try to get these views just isn't sitting well to me. I know that's my tin hat foil moment. It just, something's not right. It's so she has urged people to donate to Dr. Abdul El Sayed, a Democrat who is running for governor in Michigan. It would be the state's first Muslim governor. She attacked establishment Republicans who she said had blocked Muslims from succeeding within the Democrat Party in the past, and said that El Sayed would change that. There's a New York Assemblyman, Highkind, a Democrat who has often criticized Sauer in the past, warned in a statement Thursday that Sauer words should not be taken seriously. Words matter. Attack on the police, like the one New York suffered yesterday, are precipitated. Holy shit, am I tongue-tied today? Precipitated by violent slogan. Sauer is very dangerous. For those that don't know, there was a New York police officer that was assassinated. It is becoming... One is one too many. And I do get into this with a friend of mine. We disagree on some of the views. I've worked hand-in-hand with the police in the EMS career. I've worked hand-in-hand with them. I know how dangerous that job is. And to say if you're that scared, don't do it, that is not. That's so far off to even say it like that. But when you make statements like she's saying and calling jihad, we're going to have more cops killed. More civilians killed. I'm not sure if I have that article up. Let me take a look real quick. I'll take a look for it tomorrow. We have unrest with this leftist movement, this globalism. And it's worldwide. And it's bad. And demonstrations turned violent late Thursday ahead of the tricky first G20 summit for U.S. presidential Donald Trump, as German police clashed with the hardcore, masked, anti-capitalist activists hurling bottles and stones. Now, what's funny is they hurl these bottles and stones. Oh, well, it's just a bottle. Yeah. No, it was just a baton upside your head. It was just a non-lethal round fired at you. You know, these stones, frozen bottles, they're throwing it for a reason because they think they can backtrack on, well, it's just a bottle. No, it's just as dangerous. But what should have been a peaceful protest by around 12,000 people in Hamburg protesting against globalization was halted as police used water cannon and tear gas to disperse around 1,000 far-left militants. 9 people were injured, including 7 police officers, and 2 demonstrators. A police spokesman told AFP there were also several arrests. Police called with loudspeakers on protests to remove their masks, but this was ignored, and after more objects were thrown, authorities decided to separate them from the other protesters, police said on Twitter. Unfortunately, it has come to the first clashes. We are implementing corresponding measures, read another tweet. Protesters were scrambling to leave the scene while others defiantly stood in the way of water cannon trucks as they moved in surrounded by riot police with helmet and batons. Police tweeted a photo of a car in flames and said shop windows were smashed. The main Welcome to Hell march was then called off by thousands of people remained as night fell, attending the march, and riot police and demonstrators engaged in small skirmishes in the side streets of Germany's second city. Our mainstream media, that's giving them a compliment. I was going to save this for tomorrow. I'm going to interject this article now. Because this isn't just a right-wing thing. CNN is losing, not only to Fox, Nick at Night, TLC, as scandals and controversies take their toll. CNN, rocked by a fake news scandal and accusation of blackmail, has taken a significant hit in its primetime ratings, losing not only to Fox News and MSNBC, but also to FX, TLC, the Discovery Channel, and even children's TV network Nick at Night. They keep pushing the propaganda about Trump. They are directly responsible for these riots that have been going on worldwide. And MSNBC is right there, too. But I haven't heard too much on their rhetoric. I know it's there, but it hasn't been as loud. Which, probably the next day or two, MSNBC is going to have to stick their foot in their mouths because they're not getting any attentions. CNN is the main one that's right now responsible. And they're stirring the flames on it daily. And they have not backed down. They're still pushing fake news. Even after getting hit multiple times, they pushed that 17 intelligence agencies with the Russia report. That thing has been debunked and put to bed a long time ago. But, of course, Acosta had to go there again. They're in a major scandal, CNN, and they're not correcting anything. What the hell? Now I can see why Jeff Zucker has lost his other jobs as CEO. I'll tell you, if I was at AT&T, I would be a little worried about buying out Turner Broadcasting Systems, which is a division of Time Warner. I would be scared as hell because they're going to have to dump CNN fast or I don't even know if they can salvage themselves at this point. Not saying it can't. I don't know if it can be salvaged. They've done that much damage to themselves. And it's not like they made a mistake and, okay, we're going to correct it from here on out and try to give this image that they're trying to fix it. They just keep going down that path, down that rabbit hole that I've talked so much about. They just going headlong right in that rabbit hole and don't want to stop. Then they get pissed when they get called fake news. That'd be like someone getting in a traffic accident every goddamn day, then get upset. Someone calls them a bad driver. If you can't drive, get off the road. And if you can't report the news, get off the air. But you got all these riots going on. Why? Because people talk a lot of propaganda about Trump. And you have this new group, these young kids that are brainwashed that capitalism is bad. What's funny is if you look at all the devices they're using, all the personal stuff they have, it's all because of capitalism. Government wouldn't have been able to create any of that. They wouldn't have it if it was government issued. Up to 100,000 demonstrators are expected before and during the two-day group of 20 meeting gathering. Trump, Russians Vladimir Putin, China's Xi Jinping, Ting Tang, Walla Walla Bing Bang. Not trying to be racist, just I can't say his goddamn name. That will start tomorrow. Well, Friday, I should say. There were 20,000 police on standby, together with armored vehicles, helicopters, and surveillance drone. And a holding center for detainees has been set up in a formal hardware store with space for 400 people. This isn't just a U.S. problem. And this comes down to one man that has perpetuated this whole disruption of the world. George Soros. All fingers point back to that cocksucker. Probably has some kind of money in the world market, and he's trying to crash it so that he can make money. I wouldn't put it past him to do something like that. It's there's some 30 demonstrations have been announced, organized by anti-globalization activists, environmentalists, trade unions, student and church groups. Welcome to Hell organizer said the motto is a combative message, but it's also meant to symbolize that G20 policies worldwide are responsible for hellish conditions like hunger, war, and climate disaster. Oh, Lord, help us. These people need help. The city says it won't be taking any chances as it protects leaders, some 10,000 delegates and almost 5,000 media workers from both the threat of terrorist attacks and the street protest. Now, the main focus will be tomorrow. Trump is going to be meeting Putin. We'll see how that goes over. Democrats are already running their mouths about it. Surprise, surprise. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio. We will be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying coffee is stupid, bro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mud Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm trying to make sense out of the senseless. The Jersey expansion is here. Wrong damn mouse. What's worse is I interrupt myself. Come on, come on. Well, we've expanded the show to 2 hours, and we've moved to 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, only right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio. And if you want to be part of the show, jump into the chat. Just go to shrmedia.com. I think it's listen live/chat button. Click on that. You'll be able to watch a live stream or listen to the audio. But either way, you can jump in the chat room. Tell me you love me, hate me, want me fired, want me to have a raise. Tell me you want to fuck off. Go right ahead. Don't bother me. So all this is going on at G20. And de Blasio decides it's a good thing. It's a good thing that he's, instead of ignoring that there's a officer that was just assassinated, he's going to jet off to Germany to protest Donald Trump and other world leaders at the G20 meeting. We have a fucking mayor of one of the largest cities in the United States, one of the most recognized cities in the United States, and this jackass thinks it's smart to jet set off to Germany, ignoring what's going on in his city, skipping over a swearing-in ceremony so he can catch a flight to go protest. Isn't that special? Oh, it's absolutely a joke. This mayor is a joke. It's disgusting. He's turning his back on the city of New York. How many mayors left to go protest Obama? I don't think there was a single one. The organizers of that demonstration, Hamburger Show's Attitude in English, says 10,000 people have registered to oppose G20 participants, including Trump, Putin, Chinese president, and Turkish president. All stand for an attitude that we find unacceptable and do not want to accept. Well, I don't want to accept your bullshit attitude either. City council members said they were unaware of de Blasio's plan to abandon the Big Apple to push his progressive agenda in Europe. So he just jet set it away. Didn't tell anybody in the city. Damn. Why can't I have that job? Why I don't have to show up for work. I get a paycheck. I get the jet set, do whatever I want. Hey, and I don't have anybody to answer to, except when it comes election time. I go out and kiss a few hands and a few butts, and I'm good to go. Lie to people. And that's what these politicians do. And yes, I said politicians. I didn't say liberals. We have it on both sides. We pay these politicians to be there. I understand, okay, there's something come up, you couldn't be there. I could understand that. But you have congressmen who haven't showed up federally, like all year. They phone in votes even if they vote at all. Friggin' ridiculous. How we allow this, have allowed it, and it's the fault of the citizens of the United States. We have allowed it. We have allowed it to get this bad, and we didn't step up beforehand. It's absolutely ridiculous. I don't even know what to say on it anymore. Who does this man think he is? He has adamantly refused to comply with federal government on sanctuary cities. Now he's trying to say, oh, we're in full compliance. You know, oh, constitutionally, you can't take money away from us. Yeah. It's a freaking joke anymore. Liberals want to be able to do whatever they want. Fuck the rules. They just want to do whatever they want. And hold everybody to this high standard. That's not a government. Looking up some quotes that I like. And this fits with a lot of liberals. To argue with a person who has renounced the use of reason is like administering medication to the dead. Thomas Paine has some of the best quotes out there. I'm just looking through some of them. A republic must not only be so in its principle, but in its form. Dang. I'm missing a lot of good ones. The rights of minors are as sacred as the right of aged. Yeah. This man, I mean, he was part of the revolution. Then he went on to Paris and was part of the French Revolution. The man was a revolutionarian. I mean, he knew how to rile the people up. He knew what freedom was about. Where some say is the king of America, I'll tell you, friend, he reigns above. He who dares not offend cannot be honest. All right, let's get back to the articles. So MSNBC or MSM, mainstream media, is reacting to Trump's Poland speech. Talk of God, country, and family won't go well in the EU. Mainstream media broadcasters at Sky News have suggested President Trump's declaration that the United States and Poland put faith, family, not government and bureaucracy, at the center of our lives will have been badly received in France and Germany. In a revealing discussion with the Times correspondent, Sky anchor said there were elements of President Trump's speech which conjured up memories of Samuel P. Huntington and the Clash of Civilizations. A reference to the late American political scientist who warned that Islamic extremism would replace communism as the greatest threat to the West following the end of the Cold War. Absolutely, yes, concurred the Times correspondent. President Trump made it very clear that the continent of Europe faced threats from the East and the South, and by that he almost certainly meant Islamist extremism. And he very much underlined the common values, the culture, the religion, and social values that bind Europe together, suggesting that Europe is part of this Western idea and that this idea and this tradition is under threat from the East. Thousands cheered as First Lady introduced the President of the United States at Square in Warsaw. One thing we have to look at, we got Melania Trump, First Lady, going back to her home continent. She was brought up in a communist country, and now she is the First Lady of the leader of the free world. That just screams American opportunity. And I'm pretty sure they can't understand how I think. I can't understand how they think. Government, I don't align myself with a government. I align myself with an idea, a country. Governments can be corrupt. Power will corrupt politicians with ease. That's why we need term limits on everything when it comes to politics. There should be no such thing as a career politician. But then again, if you're good enough, you should be able to do 2 terms in the House, 2 terms in the Senate. Then you can run, and if you're lucky, be vice president, and then be president. You can make a career. But we should not have people in the Senate or in the House for 30, 40, 50 years. That's ridiculous. Their ideas become stale. This is not a left issue. This is not a right issue. This is a problem in America. They get in there too long. They get too accustomed. And they get too corrupt. And they get bought out. And this is something a lot on the left and right agree on. And maybe that's one thing we got to start doing. Instead of working on what we disagree on, start working on some things that we agree on. And just work our way through issues. Give a little, take a little. It's called compromise. Compromise is both sides come out of it unhappy. If one side comes out happy, they did not compromise. Hey, BZ. I can't understand. Government is not the answer. Government is the problem. It's a necessary evil that we do need. But it needs to be kept well in control. Things were going too good in this country for a while. And too many times people, hey, system's not broke, why rock it? Things are going good. What people didn't understand is just how broken it already was. And, they were just new coat of paint over the broken wall. That is our government. And we didn't know how bad it was getting. Or maybe we did and just kept ignoring it because it was easier to ignore it. But it's to the point now that we can't ignore it and we have to confront it. Uh-oh. Don't forget, everybody, coming up in 40 minutes. 40 minutes, BZ. BZ's Berserker Bobcat Saloon. Did I say that right? I think I did. Like I said, I'm still trying to make sure that I say my times right. He's spiffing up the saloon. He's got a special guest coming into the studio. And he's got to make sure it's nice and clean because there is high expectations of that. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio. We will be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on SHRmedia.com and HighPlainsDailyNews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying half of the stupid program.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the Reaver of Common Sense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm trying to make sense out of the senseless. Sorry, I'm a little... As I was talking to BZ, got on those new meds this week, and it's got my mind a little loopy. And I was just talking to my wife, and her grandmother just went back in the hospital, so my mind's a little preoccupied. And I know this may be sounding a little asshole-ish, but she's up in the Poconos. My daughter is with her grandparents, so that'd be her great grandmother's in the hospital, and it's kind of like, shit, something happens, God forbid, I don't want to hear it happen. That's going to take a toll on my daughter, in which neither me or my wife are going to be around. And I know my mother-in-law, it's going to hit her hard. So it should. I'm not saying anything negative, but it's going to hit her hard. But it's going to be like, shit, my daughter's up there. Fudge sickles. Hopefully, I'm sure she'll pull through. She's a stubborn, beautiful woman. I've never heard her cuss. Not even shit. Not even damn. Doesn't say a negative thing about anybody. She is sweet. She is loving. Just don't piss her off, though. You piss her off, and nope. You have that one chance with her. Now, what's funny is, with her and my wife's grandfather, he was the loud one. He was a comedian and a half. My wife would call up and he'd be like, "How you douching there, Al?" You call him a pervert, he'll say thank you. No one's said that to him in a while. He was a great man, but he was the dog on the chain, and everybody thought he ruled, and he was the boss. I said to her, I was like, no. I got talking one day. Then he's like, no, I'm not in charge. She is. She's the brains. I'm just the mouth. And I was like, I figured it. And it's kind of like in my household. My wife's the brains behind everything, and I'm just a mouthpiece. So, my prayers go out to Hanan. Get better and get back home, sweetie. All right. Got so many mouses, Mises, computers. I don't understand what's going on. Jim Acosta threw a hissy fit again. And it seems like every day he's got to throw a hissy fit about something. But it's funny, they talk about how the White House press conferences have to happen on camera, but Jeff Zucker won't give an interview on camera. It's funny how it's one way is okay, the other way isn't. But he threw a hissy fit when asked about President Donald Trump's press conference from Poland. Network White House correspondent Jim Acosta accused Trump of holding a fake news conference for going off on CNN as fake news during the event. All right, this is something that's been happening a while. Yes, there's freedom of press, but it's not freedom to lie. It's not freedom to push propaganda. It doesn't mean you have to ask a question, that you have to get the first question, that you must sit up front. It is not the end of the world if you get to go to the back of the bus and let someone up front for a little bit. 8 years, you were up there. You were in the popular group. Now the popular group's not in charge anymore. And Jim Costa, I'm popular. I want to be up front. Sit down. Shut up. Act like an adult, and you might get treated like an adult. If CNN acts like a news agency instead of a propagandist, you might be treated as a news agency and get to ask questions and get to sit up front with the big boys and girls. But when Acosta sits here and throws his little hissy fit, yeah, of course, you're a goddamn joke. That's why you're losing in the ratings. You're losing to Nick at Night. How the hell does a news agency lose to Nick at Night? They run a kids program, and then on top of it, at nighttime, they run reruns of old shows. So by the sounds of it, Happy Days is beating CNN. Or whatever repeats Nick at Night is doing now. They're propagandists. They are not news. And the sooner they get that through their head, maybe the better for them. I'm not asking them to jump on board Trump train. I'm not asking them to become the right side. I don't want that. I don't want Fox on the right side, but right now it's needed. There needs to be a balance. I want to see CNN, MSNBC, and Fox down the fucking middle. If Trump fucks up, they call him on it. If Obama had fucked up what she did, they should have called him on it. That's a news agency. CNN is a propagandist. They lied, they covered up, they helped the Obama administration. And now all they do is attack with fake news, outright lies against President Trump. I need to get a little toy in here. I know BZ has his little lava light. I'm jealous. I'm jealous of you, BZ. I don't want a lava light, but I got to think of something. Get a little EMS strobe light, blue light. Beep, beep, beep. It's funny because down here, where I am in New Jersey, cops have red lights. Chief of departments have red lights. Volunteers get blue lights. Down here, the police are blue lights. And it just messes with me. But yeah, just get a little blue light. Lava lamps would be cool. Isn't it just like a wax and a oil? It's Just a friendly reminder, everybody, coming up is BZ's Berserker Bobcat Saloon. It'll take me a couple times of saying it over and over again. I got to do things in repetition to get it through my thick skull. And I've said many a times, my long career in EMS. Yeah, I was able to read it in the chat there. My long career in EMS, one of the ways that I lasted, and it's a good thing and a bad thing. Somebody would tell me their name, and it would be ingrained in me why I had them in the back of my rig. As soon as I got them out, I just forgot who they were. I didn't want to know. I know that sounds asshole-ish, but I had people that would always go to the hospital, check up on how their patients. No, not me. I did my job. I got them to the hospital. That's as far as I wanted to go. When I first started my career, I did all the carrying and bullshit, and it tore me up. So when it came to the names, it's kind of like, forget it, and I forgot what was going on, to the next one. So now, today, fast forward, and people give me their names, and I'll be like, shit, what was that? Damn it, I forgot already. Hey, Carrie. I'm so over it, and I'm tired of talking about it, but we have to keep talking about it. It's like what I tell my wife. If you only let the one voice speak out, everybody's going to think that's the majority. So if we allow CNN to keep pulling this bullshit, then that's going to become the reality. So we have to keep talking about it and over-talking CNN. Lava Lance be cool. Back in the day, you get the bong out, have the lava light. I wouldn't know anything about that. I was always a good boy. I was an angel. I don't know why I like doing that, though. Not smoking, just faking that sound. I've had people like, what the hell? No, it's not a bong. Back on seriousness, it is Acosta. I Oh, trust me, Carrie, if I told you the half of it, you'd probably run away screaming. During my youth, I was a hellion, and I know I was. And it's funny because now my daughter pulls all this shit. Being a typical 13-year-old, and I'll nab her. Some of the stuff I let her get away with, small stuff. I know she's got to learn to get away with some stuff in life. But I'll nab her, and she's just like, how the hell did you know? Her mother will look at her going, your dad did 10,000 times worse than you did. There's nothing you could pull that he didn't pull. And I'm just sitting there. Who, me? I was innocent. I've talked to my daughter. I'm very straightforward with what I've done. She knows, and she'll look at me. She'll just like, you're bad for it, Dad. I was like, does that mean you get to do it? And she's like, no. Problem is, my daughter's so friendly to everybody. In every school she's gone to, she is known as the hugger. She has to hug, just about everybody every day. She's hugging. And I know it's coming up. She's in middle school. She's going to hit high school, and someone's going to fuck with her, and it's going to break her heart, and she's going to stop that joyfulness that she has. And that's going to piss me off. Then it's going to make me want to go out and, beat somebody up. But, yeah, we get it all the time from the teachers about my daughter. Sorry for this little tangent, but, I'll hear it all the time. Your daughter always makes my day. She sees me, she'll yell, and she'll come down the hall just to give me a hug. I'm like, well, yeah, it's not you. And the teacher's like, what? I'm like, no, she does this every school, every teacher. Actually, there's only one teacher she did not like, and that was in first grade. Just something about the teacher, and she ended up failing first grade. Something about that teacher, and I'm not trying to blame teachers for the problems, but something about that teacher my daughter didn't like, and the teacher was an asshole. When they were holding my daughter back, the teacher was in there laughing in the meeting. She thought it was funny. And she thought it was funny. I was getting pissed. I had to walk out because that wouldn't have wound up too good. I asked the principal, what are we going to do different about this year for my daughter since you're holding her back? Oh, we're not going to do anything different. So if we're not going to do anything different, why are we holding her back? Because we're going to try something different. So we're going to try something different. No, I told you we're not going to try anything different. But you just said you don't understand what's going on. You're too emotionally involved. It's like, no, you keep running me around. You said you're not going to do anything different. We're not. So if we're not going to do anything different, why hold her back? Why not put her forward? Because we're going to try something different. But you just said we're not going to do anything different. I was like, oh, my God, I got to walk out here because I'm about to lose it. I got the one teacher sitting there laughing. And I even stopped it. I was like, do you think this is fucking funny? And the principal's like, watch your mouth. I'm like, no, this witch wants to sit over here and laugh. And she's holding her phone. She's like, no. I was like, I don't care. This is a meeting about my daughter, and you don't need to be on your phone. Oh, superintendent got a phone call. You don't want to piss me off. After that, anytime we were at the daughter's school and the principal saw us, doesn't matter, she would stop dead in her tracks, turn around, and go the other way. She would not come near us. She would not come near us. She was scared shitless of us. My mom was a bus driver, and she knew the school system. You know, my mother-in-law is a teacher. My wife's grandmother is was a teacher. They're both retired. You know, I knew teachers, and I knew what was supposed to be done and what wasn't being done. They didn't like that. And I knew down here in Hillsborough County, Florida, if you have an issue and you call a superintendent, ooh, they don't like that. They don't like it when parents call up bitching. They only want to hear good stuff. They don't want to hear bad stuff. And see, this is where I'm like shit, because Bill Gates came down here a couple years ago and helped out Hillsborough County tremendously. He was running around giving schools grants. He was giving several $1 billion to different school systems, and one of them was Hillsborough County School, and it did help, but I think that money's running out soon, so that's a bad thing. But I'm also for choices of schools. We have what's called magnet schools down here. Some call them charters in other places. We do have charters, but it's a little bit different. Magnet schools are part of Hillsborough County school system. Anybody can get in those schools. You have to apply. They look at it based. They go through it, and they pick out certain students to put them into these programs. There's less amount of students in the class than normal. They think outside the box. They don't teach the normal curriculum. The elementary school my daughter was in, it specifically was science and the arts. That's what they concentrated on. Kids actually had gardens that they had to tend to from start to finish every year. One of the schools is associated with NASA. Kids go out to Cape Kennedy, and they'll spend weekends at Cape Kennedy as working with the actual NASA scientists and astronauts. There's another program where it's intertwined with SeaWorld, and they'll take weekend trips to Orlando. And they'll get behind the scenes and get to work with the animals, with the trainers. There's the nursing programs. My daughter loves the STEM, little robot things you build. She's having fun with that. So we got her in those types of programs. And that's what these schools center around. And that's how they teach. It's almost like there's new classes that, I don't know. I know it's with the homeschoolers real big. Minecraft. Minecraft will teach the kids how to work together, how to plan, design. You know, you're going to have these X, Y, and Z kids. You got to go get these pieces so we can make this part, so we can build this item. And it just teaches, you know, you got math and you got everything all involved in it in one. And now you have some schools that are starting to develop around that. Now, one of the things in my daughter's schools is it's not required because they do have them, but you can't take them home. They ask the parents that they have either a smartphone or a tablet. And there's apps that they put on. And certain classes, they'll actually have to log into those apps and do the schoolwork. As I said, if you don't have a tablet or something, you can go down to the library and get one. And then you go through the not episode, but the chapter that they're working on. And they try to stay a little bit updated on the technology. So, all right, shit. Late for a break. Listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media, High Plains Pundit Radio, and we will be right back.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on SHRmedia.com and HighPlainsDailyNews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying calf for the stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on SHRmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm trying to make sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every day, Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you want to watch a broadcast, it's simple. Just go to shrmedia.com, click on the live show /chat. While you're there, you can also join the chat and join the conversations with Carrie and BZ, as BZ is cleaning up the Berserk Bobcat Saloon, wiping down the tables, picking up all the glass from the last bar fight. You know how it goes. Oh. So this past weekend, and on all day, 4th of July, Never Trump New York Times columnist Brett Steffens said President Donald Trump supporters are idiots who need to admire the elitists. It's kind of like makes me laugh because that exact attitude is the reason why no one supports them anymore. They sit there and they call us idiots. They call us idiots and then think we need to admire them. Anybody know what the New Jersey salute is? If you're watching the video, it's this. And that's all I got to say to Brett Steffens. It just blows my mind. And they're trying to get sackheads to do what? Admire the elitists? Sorry, something else going on within chat. Yeah, if you want to see what's going on, you got to jump into chat. Just go to shrmedia.com. Now, I'm pretty sure you're talking about the promos. I still have promos that have my old time slot in it, and they still have some old addresses to other shows. I got to redo them all. I just been lazy. I'll admit it. I'll straight out admit it. I had just been lazy. No excuse. No nothing. No, I can't say anything except just me being lazy. But this Brett Steffens, it just makes me laugh. The Times and MSNBC's insufferably smug and out-of-touch useful idiots said Warren Buffett was a wonderful line. First come the innovator, then come the intimidators, and then comes the idiots. And then they wonder why they're not in power anymore. I think the conservative movement has traced a similar trajectory, he said on MSNBC, adding that the party of Donald Trump is associated with exclusion, fear, and bigotry. It's all these people, they can't actually give an honest-to-God reason why this man is so bad. I know some people don't like the way he talks. They don't like his Twitter, the way he handles things. Now, for me, I'm from New Jersey. That's how we talk. That's how we deal with things. To me, what Donald Trump's doing is everyday life. Like I said, you know how you wave good morning to people in New Jersey? It's right there. You give them the middle finger. That's saying good morning. But these idiots, they have this entitlement to them. And they still can't get it through their heads till this day. That is why they're not in power. Because you think you're entitled to all this. You think we should be admiring you. Thank you, Dylan. Thank you very much. And I know I don't know web pages and all that, and I know SHR uses a different thing. With WordPress, I have a program that automatically uploads everything. Is there anything like that for SHR Media webpage to make it easier? That just automatically? Because if you go to my page, Reaver.1, and click on SHR TV, it loads up. If it's a live broadcast, it'll show it. If not, it goes into a loop of old shows. So, and maybe something to look into. Make it easier. But Stephen whined that conservatives demonize and did not admire the elites who are educated and care about things like culture and the cultivation of the human soul. Again, that is why you are not in power. We're not demonizing you. We're showing your faults. We got tired of your bullshit. And you think you ought to be admired. I don't deserve to be admired. BZ, no offense, you don't. Sackheads, nobody deserves to be admired. If you admire somebody, that's your business. But nobody deserves to be admired. Actually, no. Do you know who deserves my admiration? My father, my mother. They deserve my admiration. These nose in the air, stuck-up little snobs are what give the Republican Party a bad name. It's one of the reasons why I kind of shied away from the Republican Party, because I always heard about these assholes like that. And they're there. I just got to the point where I said I just don't give a shit anymore about them and ignore them. That's why I do the show. Yeah, I'm not highly educated. I have a high school degree, some college. That's why I do the show, because I talk to you. I try to talk to you the way I would talk to somebody on the street. I'm not trying to use words that are above and beyond you. Now, I'm not saying everybody does that, but you got these smug assholes like this Brett Steffens, where he loves to talk down to people because he's better than you. Yeah, he ain't better than me. Nobody's better than me, and I'm not better than anybody yet. Well, I'm better than Charlie Manson. I know I'm better than him. I know I'm better than the Unabomber. I know I'm better than the Sarnak brothers. So I am better than some people, but for the most part of walk of life, I'm not better than anybody else. And nobody's better than me. Well, my father. I'd have to say my father is better than me. He's a better man. This is why we have problems in politics. This is why we have problems with the GOP. Because we have these elitist snobs like Brett Steffens who demand our admirations as they call us idiots. And I watched it through the whole campaign, especially being a Trump supporter so early on. I watched it how we were treated as second-class conservatives, looked down upon, degraded because we were deemed uneducated. Understand this, and I've said it before. Colleges, they have their places. They have a very good place. But just because you have a piece of paper from a college doesn't mean you're smarter than somebody else. Like I said, I don't have the high education, but I'm not dumb either at the same time. My education came on the streets. And the one thing I learned is you try to treat people with respect. I try to treat people the way they treat me. This guy, I'd want to put his teeth down his throat. I know it's violent to say something like that. I wouldn't actually do it. But in the back of my head, I'd be just like, oh, I just want to jam his teeth down his throat. Because he's the one that's hurting the GOP, not Donald Trump. It's not Donald Trump that's hurting the party. It's the Jeb Bush. It's the Kasichs. Now, I've had my issue with Ted Cruz during the campaign. But he's coming around, and he's kind of, I don't know if he's pulling a political stunt, or did he really wake up to what the people want? I don't know yet. But I'm not going to say he's one of the problems. I'm not going to say. Let me reiterate that. Well, we have these stuck-up little snobs. And if they leave the party, bye. Because really their values and the way they're handling things are no different than what the Democrats are doing. There was a lot of argument in elections, but otherwise there wasn't much difference between a Democrat and a Republican anymore. They were kind of bleeding together. And that's scary. Donald Trump came along, and he's honestly given the power back to the people. I honestly feel like we have a president who wants to make it better for everybody in America. Not the lower class, not the middle class, not the upper class. He's trying to deal it so that everybody makes out. No, not everybody's going to be happy. It's impossible. But he's trying to deal it so everybody makes out. And yes, if the rich are making money, they're more apt to spend, which means jobs for the middle class and jobs for the lower class. It means they're going to spend more money into charities, which means helping for education and other programs, and so on and so on. You can't tax people into prosperity. Because if you think that's right, please send me 50% of your check every week. I'll gladly accept it. And then tell me how you're a lot richer than you were before. And yes, I know people who do say taxing will put you into prosperity. None of these politicians that sit out there that scream for socialism and equal pay are willing to give up their money. Those who offer it are always the beneficiary to the taking. Zuckerberg is back on his little soapbox about the government should be giving a paycheck. Well, he's got the money. Why doesn't he start giving it out? Everybody stick around. Yeah, the Berserker Bobcat Saloon coming up next with BZ. Everybody have a great night. You've been listening to the Reaver of Common Sense with its host, Jersey Joe. You can tune in every day, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on hppundit.com and shrmedia.com.